Okay, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Crystal, the PTO coach, and we're getting back to getting started Thursday. This is January 23rd, 2025, and there's a lot going on in the AI space. And it's something I actually want to dive in a little bit today. I have a couple of platforms you might see me on the Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on all the spaces, just kind of really trying to bring this presentation to you. As a lot of you might or might not know, the reason why I have kind of given this time and really try to put this program together for you is because I believe that upskilling is the path to ensure that we stay competitive and viable, especially in this new age where all these things are changing and they're changing rapidly, right? They're changing rapidly. So I definitely want to make sure I am the kind of person who kind of brings you that insight, staying ahead of the game. And we're just going to dive into some things really quickly just to kind of get an overview of where are we seeing 2025 in terms of AI? Like, what can we learn? In fact, what is there outside of AI? Maybe there's other job descriptions, other skills that we're going to need. What's the next step for us? And as you know, this is getting started Thursday. We do focus on that. And my goal is that we have something to be accountable on, something to do together at the end. But I really wanted to open up and say today's going to be a little bit different, namely because I want to go through some things that I think are going to be very impactful for us very soon. So if you haven't seen this as of yet, there was news that OpenAI will, I think, looking at about $500 billion, not $500 million, not $500,000, but $500 billion in the US AI infrastructure. And this initiative has like SoftBank, OpenAI, Microsoft, NVIDIA. There's a lot of people in this game, but you can imagine this is a very big deal. This is a very big deal. So I wanted to point this out. Something we can think about in this case, if you want to look at the actual announcement, I would say go to OpenAI's page. This is their Stargate project. So go ahead over there. And as you can see, they're looking at, like I said, $500 billion or $500 billion over the next 4 years. This is pretty quick to spend $500 billion. And this is on new AI infrastructure. So you think beyond just using it on your computer, what does infrastructure look like? And you can read this page and all goes into a couple of the partners there. But something interesting for those of us who might be in a non-technical field and thinking, whoa, how does this impact me? They're looking for partners. You can submit your profile as a partner here. And for people in the power space, land, construction, equipment, everything in between, especially if you're in the Texas area or other areas, I would say this is a case where even if it doesn't work out, put your business hat in the ring. If you are construction in the construction space, or you have a power grid, or you have like a land, or you have equipment that you're using to build things, or maybe you're in data operations and data stream centers, put your hat in the ring. This is an infrastructure project that is built to make jobs. And one of the things we're going to think about in AI is going to be bigger than just, typing out a prompt. And as we've seen with AI agents, as we've seen with like ways to augment our lives, this is one of those pieces that's going to be kind of a physical piece of the work, but something to look into. So all this being said, as I was looking through my emails, one of the things that came in a couple of days ago was actually an email on this from Berkeley, which if some of you don't know, I'm actually alumni from the University of California, Berkeley. And every now and then I'll get some emails and I'll open them up. And this one is for an AI for the C-suite. Now, mind you, 40% discount, fantastic. It's only 3 days. And when you go to take a look at it, it is a whopping $6,200. Now, mind you, yes, they did say that you get a 40% discount with that particular code. But for 3 days of work, what can you really do in $6,200? Imagine as a leader, you're paying $6,200, maybe $4,000 with a discount, just to make sure that you have the insights you need to move forward. So this is not something that, only a couple of us are doing. This is going to be a broad scale. I think we're going to see a lot more of this coming through this year, a lot more of these things. So getting back to it, what does that mean for you? Like I said, slightly different take on AI today. I really want to go through a couple of bits on what this means for the job space. So the World Economic Forum actually had a 2025 jobs report, which projects 2025, 2030, what changes might happen. I can't say will, what changes might happen. Now, something that's fairly interesting is that 2020 was 5 years ago. And we remember. And before 2020, we didn't know virtual work environments as strongly as we did this RTO space. What was Zoom in 2020? Right? What was AI in 2020? There are so many changes that happened just in the last 5 years that you can remember. We had lots of advances in the last 5 years. We also went through a global pandemic. So very big changes there. And so looking forward 5 years, so don't think that far away, what's going to be needed? That's a core question to be asking in this moment. Okay. 10 of the fastest growing skills. Getting started with AI. One, it's AI and big data. Like this is why we have this channel, right? Like this is what we're doing here. The next one, networks and cybersecurity. And I'm hoping to get on some cybersecurity experts in the next few weeks, namely because this is so big. They are spoofing people, calling people, pretending to be your children, having their voice. And it's going to be, a kind of push and pull for the network and cybersecurity space. So big deal. Tech literacy, of course, that space, but creative thinking. You would think, well, AI can do all this stuff by itself, but who's going to think outside the box? So we're really in there. Resilience, flexibility, agility, curiosity, leadership, analytical thinking, all things that I love, but these are the skills to think about as we move forward. And this is something I want to ask you about. Like, how are you feeling? What are we thinking about in this space? Like I said, and as we go through, the next bit is going to be on that businesses will transform. Businesses will transform in the next space. And so if we're looking at this here, about over 75%, over 3/4 are going to upskill or reskill the workforce. So if you haven't started already, you should know that most of us will be changing our jobs or doing something slightly different in our jobs. They're going to be hiring people with new skills. So maybe if you want a new job or a different job, that could be you. They're going to be transitioning people from jobs. And so AI will cause some decline. Maybe about 2 out of 5 spaces will be having some downsizing. That's just the reality of it. And so when we're thinking ahead, we really want to have this insight going forward. Like I mentioned earlier, 39% of jobs are going to change. So analytical thinking, flexibility, creative problem solving, those are all things we can work on. Those are all things we as humans are still better at, I believe. So I really want to just hone in, focus here, think about that. One of the things that I love to think about is the human-machine interface. As we saw last week with all those new tools, you can use the Fathom app. You can use Canva. You can use, of course, ChatGPT or Claude. You can use all these things to kind of increase. And now we have AI agents coming on the scene. So you're going to see a lot more human AI interfacing. Like, why struggle building a proposal when you can have the help? Why struggle taking meeting notes when something can do it for you in a far more conclusive way? So this is going to be an excellent frontier going forward. And for any of you watching now or later, you might be thinking, well, Crystal, what should we do? Right? What's happening here? How are we feeling about this? Well, 50% of the workforce has started reskilling. And you might have noticed that your of workers are going to be at risk of being left behind. And that's like 1 out of 10 people. That's not a small number of people who might be being left behind. I don't like that number. Because I don't like that number, I am here to be a part of your journey moving forward. And when we think about a journey, one of the things that critical in this case is going to be accountability. Imagine running by yourself. It just feels lonely, right? Accountability will be key to this process. So this community that we're building now, this forum, this Thursday weekly, it's really about accountability and that being a key driver to ensuring that we're upskilling together and in a way that's progressive, that we can actually increase our job skills, that we can increase maybe what we get paid at work instead of just thinking about the decline. There could be a lot of upside here. So that was a lot to say. To kind of lead you into, I'm starting an accountability newsletter called The Loop Effect, where we'll do weekly updates. We're also going to do tips on reskilling, and then really thinking about what things you can do that week to upskill. So you imagine on a Tuesday, you might get an email from me and it'll be like, hey, this week we're going to work on setting up our password security. And it's going to have a couple of steps in it. And then Thursday, we'll go over cybersecurity together. So you'll have that like thing to do on a Tuesday and then have somewhere to come on a Thursday to ask a question in this form here, where it really becomes, kind of a group growth, if I can say that succinctly without mumbling my words, a group growth activity. So this is what we're doing. And to do that, all you're going to do is actually head over to the loop effect at beehive.com. I'm going to add this into the chats, all the places, because I think this might be a little hard to see if you are, where's the live chat here? Open the panel. Okay. So yeah, so there's going to be a couple of things to say. I'm going to add this in. Hopefully. Hi, Jonna. It's nice to see you. So definitely looking at what the loop effect is going to be is really a spark for making you thrive in AI. Just every week, something you open up your email, you follow a couple steps, and you just keep it moving forward. And then on Thursday, we'll come back, we'll talk about it, and we're going to keep going. That gives us like, let's call it ballpark 40 chances this year to try something new together, right? And that makes a big deal. Once you sign up, you're going to get a simple welcome email looking like this in your inbox. It's going to be from me, but we're at loopeffect@beehive.com because we want to actually create an environment where we're continuously learning and creating that loop together. So very excited, like I said, to have you all here. Very excited to see you all and the chats everywhere. Up until next time, we'll be back, of course, next week. And next week, we'll do something very similar to what we've always done. We'll go through a skill set. But I want to just take some time this week to say, hey, this space is changing rapidly. And I do think I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit and say we're going to be accountable together. And I'm looking forward to going on this journey with you in 2025. So getting started Thursday, I'm signing off. This is Crystal Bray, the PTO coach. And I'll see you all next week. Okay. Bye.